Hello everyone, my name is Osman Enriquez Palacios. I'm a didactic planning student at the University of El Salvador, and today we are here because we are going to make some activities. We are going to include the four micro skills, which are listening, writing, reading, and speaking. So for these activities, we are going to use the interchange book 4th edition. This one is being used in your second language academy here in Cojutepeque, so we're going to use this book. The first activity we're going to do is a listening activity. We're going to listen to a survey about the future because today's topic is future continuous. So we're going to listen to some predictions, and when I play the audio, I'm going to share with you the options you have so you can write it down, and you just have to check the predictions you think will happen. So let's start with this first activity because we're going to make some others later. So let's start. I'm going to play the audio and I'm going to share the image with you.
Page 67, Exercise 9, Perspectives. Part A. Listen to a survey about the future. Check the predictions you think will happen.
What will the future hold?
Computers will recognize any voice command. You won't need a keyboard.
Within 20 years, scientists will have discovered a cure for baldness.
People will be living in cities under the ocean.
By 2020, world leaders will have eliminated terrorism.
Robots will be performing most factory jobs.
By 2050, we will have set up human communities on Mars.
Medical scientists will create an AIDS vaccine.
So what were the predictions that you checked? Let's see, in my case, I have here the ones that I checked, and I have the first one. Computers will recognize any voice command, you won't need a keyboard. And I have another one. Within 20 years, scientists will have discovered a cure for baldness. I have another one here. People will be living in cities under the ocean. I think that's pretty interesting. And the last one, by 2050, we will have set up human communities on Mars. So those are the ones that I checked. What were the ones you checked? Let's see. So now let's move to the second activity, but first we need to know the structure about future continuous. As I said at the beginning, today's topic is future continuous, so we are going to see how we can make sentences with this tense. We have first a subject. We need to write a subject. After that, we need to write the auxiliary will be, and after that, we need to write a verb in ing form and a complement. So we can say, I will be visiting my grandmother, an example. And we can add like time expressions, for example, next weekend, in 2 years, 3 years, and more years. For example, next month, next year. And so we can say, next weekend I will be moving to a new house. That's another example using a time expression. So I'm going to give you some time to think about some sentences. You will have 5 minutes to write some sentences about what you're going to do your next vacations. So after that, we're going to write a paragraph with those sentences you wrote, and use time expressions. Use connectors to get together your ideas, and after that, we're going to move to the next activity. So we have this one first. 5 minutes to think about your ideas and 10 minutes to write your paragraph. After that, we're going to do another activity. So now time is up. Remember that you have 5 minutes to think about your ideas, your activities you're going to do in your next vacation. and 10 minutes to write your paragraph. As I said before, you have to use connectors, time expressions, and you can sound like more professional or like a native speaker. So if you notice, we include listening and writing, two of the four macro skills, because we did a listening activity at the beginning and we just wrote a paragraph with our vacation activities. So for the next activity, we're going to include two macro skills at the same time. We're going to include speaking and reading. So for the next activity, we're going to read our paragraph. We're going to read it out loud because, as I said before, we are going to include two macro skills, speaking and reading, because we can read like in silence in our minds and just for ourselves, but we can read out loud for more people that is with us, for example, in a classroom or in a conference, like the presidents when they give speeches to people. So I have my paragraph here, and I took 5 minutes to think about my activities and 10 minutes to write it. So I'm going to read it for you out loud, and that's what you're going to do after. You're going to read it and out loud. So let's see. For my next vacation, I will be learning new things about English, and I will be getting better at music production. I like painting, so probably I will be painting a lot and trying to learn new techniques. My grandmother has a small restaurant, or something like that. So maybe I'll be visiting her for a few days because I can eat for free. So that's great. So that's what I'm going to do in my next vacations. That's what you're going to do. You have to read it out loud, so we can include speaking and read it at the same time. So let's continue with these activities. As I said before, we included two macro skills, reading and speaking, but we have to do a speaking activity because we need to practice more speaking. We're going to make like a short presentation about future plans, but we have to improvise. So this can help us to sound like more natural, more professional, like a native speaker, because imagine that you're walking on the street and a native speaker asks you for any direction about a restaurant or supermarket, something like that. You're not going to have time to think about what you're going to say, so we have to know how to improvise and like so natural, like a native speaker. So that's what we are going to do now. So for this activity, you have to speak for 3 minutes or 2 minutes. 2 minutes, it's okay, because we're going to improvise, and sometimes we are learning English, and it sometimes is kind of difficult to improve. So presentation, 2 minutes about future plans. It can be future going to, will be, or future continuous, like the one we are studying today. Like I will be living in another city. So 2 minutes about future plans. So in my case, I'm going to do it as well. I'm going to improvise about my future plans. So let's get started. For example, when the pandemic ends, probably I will get a part-time job to make some money and survive. Within 4 more years, I will be graduating from the university, and after that, I will be probably learning a new language. So I like Dutch and French, so one of those ones. So in 10 years probably, I will buy a well, maybe I'm going to move to another city. So I'm going to work as a music producer. So I hope to I hope to travel to different countries. Maybe I'm going to travel to the United States or Australia, or well, countries where people speak English. So um, probably I will be learning about different cultures, about different countries, people's traditions and stuff like that, because I like to learn things about culture. So that's it for today. I think we practiced the four macro skills, and that was the objective of these activities. To get a general knowledge about the four macro skills and to put them in practice, so we can get better at English in the four areas at the same time. So thanks for your attention, thanks for doing these activities. So see you next time.